And as we hear from the curtain, we're back to a new Simpsons review. And if y'all didn't see the last one, go and check it out. And this episode starts with Homer obviously bored at work until there's a big winner sign coming up and saying that he's got a big reward that he won, which is pretty much getting lifted in the air and pretty much being used to clean some of the things in the factory. And obviously Mr. Burns eating some chips while watching, and Smithers getting another sponge for him while he's sinking. And while he's presumably dying, he cuts back to some different times, flashbacks, and yeah, Smithers thinking that he's dead when he's not, and he starts joking Smithers, saying that he tried to kill him, which Mr. Burns saying that he wants to do his money, when he does eventually die, he wants somebody to get his money, which Smithers says maybe him, but obviously he doesn't, which Mr. Burns says that Smithers is going to get pretty much killed with him. And he's like, that's nice. Which, yeah, Bart goes to this theater, lies about his age, pretty much. Which is watching this weird, funny thing, and everything keeps breaking and stuff. And Grandpa Simpson is obviously saying to turn it up the volume. And yeah, Mr. Burns obviously announcing that he's gonna do some auditioning to see who he wants to give his money to for when he is gone. Which, yeah, everybody's curious, and he's told to be doing a musical number. Which, yeah, they do some auditions pretty much. And Mr. Burns obviously booing everybody. Well, besides Nelson, he says to keep him. But yeah, he keeps booing everybody. Boos Lisa, Milhouse, which he tries to give it another go. They tell Bart that he got this, and saying that it would be a good thing if Bart actually gets the money. And he imagines of what it would be. Which, yeah, weird thought process. And Homer's got this note thing for Bart to read. Which, yeah, he starts reading it. Tells Bart that he's done. And starts pretty much turning this thing, which, yeah, has a boat. And pretty much turns the other one. He gets kicked. Homer obviously laughing because Bart got kicked. And Homer pretty much saying a very not well lesson of never try the new things or something like that. It's a bad example pretty much. Which obviously Bart, when they're leaving, he's furious. Which Mr. Burns is wondering what he's gonna do now. Until a rock comes breaking through, and yeah, he sees that Bart is breaking all of his windows, and pretty much destroying his statues, and flooding his car, and letting people in, and yeah, Mr. Burns is actually impressed with Bart, which he says that Bart is going to be the one to get all his money, which he tells this boy, what day is it, which he tells Bart what day is it, and yeah, pretty much throws a rock at Smithers, knocking him out, and he says he would be perfect, pretty much. Which he goes to the Simpsons house, and gets Homer to sign this treaty, contract, whatever it's supposed to be, for them to get the money when obviously Mr. Burns is obviously gone. And again, he's proud at Bart. But of course, and they do mention that Mr. Burns ain't dead yet. Which he obviously tries to do a little scare, which makes Grandpa Simpson just faint. And he pretty much says that he's just going to go back to his lonely mansion. Which Marge tells Bart, why not, since he's going to be getting all of Mr. Burns' money, why not go and spend some time with Mr. Burns at his mansion? Which, yeah, is a good idea, which Mr. Burns tries to give him some more milk, which presses the wrong button, and says that he will be able to have anything he wants, pretty much. And Bart does actually say that he wants some crusty pizza, with Krusty pretty much delivering it, which he comes and asks for the money, which Bart wonders if he's there, who's obviously doing the show, which he says he's putting on an old airing. Yeah, of an old airing while he's there. And Mr. Burns, obviously, showing these cameras, because he's pretty much spying on every single person in Springfield. Yeah, kind of like Mr. Krabs in the Trooper Square special, where he has a security room of cameras of every single person in Bikini Bottom. Even people's bathrooms he has. Yeah, even people's bathrooms of security cameras, hidden security cameras. And Bart saying that it was a blast pretty much. And obviously Bart doing pays at Lisa, which he says Mr. Burns does that to Smithers, which Bart starts, obviously, which after he gives the steak to Santa's little helper, Homer tells him to go to his room, but Bart says that he likes Mr. Burns' much better, and he would much rather be there. So he goes back to Mr. Burns, and yeah, pretty much Mr. Burns says that he's going to eventually love him like his own son, which, yeah, he hugs Mr. Burns, and Homer obviously comes, trying to force Mr. Burns to give him his son back, and he said, is he going to release his bees, his dogs, and he locks the door pretty much, and does the button pretty much, and tries to tell the cops that Mr. Burns is pretty much holding hostage to Bart, which, yeah, he's pretty much saying that they can't do anything about it. And then they go to this place where their lawyer pretty much is, and pretty much talking about, this whole business thing in the court, and pretty much saying that Mr. Burns obviously wins. Yeah, Mr. Burns obviously wins with Bart, and saying that they're going to have to remind him not to find a new lawyer, pretty much. Which Milhouse is with Bart, and basically says that he's having to go. Which Mr. Burns saying that he doesn't need him, and he's got everything that he can imagine. And yeah, Mr. Burns obviously saying that he will play football with him, which he starts to run, then walks, then kicks Smithers in the face, and starts to pass out. Yeah. And then gives him a car. Well, something like a car. Which, yeah, Bart obviously running over lots of stuff, even an elf. And they go to, I guess, this hypnotist thing, pretty much going to be using to get Bart back, which he goes to a wrong place. Yeah, and pretty much saying that they got their son back, even though they got this old man. Yeah, and obviously Homer being Homer, kissing the old man, obviously, and Bart and Mr. Burns watching Itchy and Scratchy, which they take a tour, and yeah, gets into a money press and getting torn, pretty much getting given to people and getting burned as well. And yeah, Mr. Burns obviously laughing, and are wondering what he's been missing out. Which, yeah, Bart is starting to feel some regret and wanting to go home. Mr. Burns is saying that his family doesn't need him anymore, or doesn't want him anymore. And they play a clip of this on the security saying that they don't want Bart back, which he's saying that doesn't sound anything like it. Which Mr. Burns goes and, yeah, it's pretty much actors. Yeah, just actors pretending to be them. And then Bart then realizes that it is true, which he says that Mr. Burns is the only one that he can trust now. And now refers him to his dad. Which he pretty much pops some of the bones of Mr. Burns, obviously, with that hug. And they just look at some pictures of Bart and Marge's and Lisa tearing down the wall to try to let out the depression of Bart not being there to do anything. Homer obviously tripping. And yeah, Mr. Burns trying to get Bart to be like him and doing some firing. Giving them some reasons. And yeah, Homer obviously coming in and Mr. Burns telling Bart to do it, to fire his own dad. And obviously Bart eventually tells, after some more threats, and Bart telling Mr. Burns that Mr. Burns is fired, and he said, firing me, and he said that he can't fire him, which he pulls the lever anyway, and he falls down. Smithers follows along, and Bart's back with the family. And they said that those are actors that they apparently know, that they actually met them at the different places, and that they are glad the real Simpsons are glad to have Bart back, which they hug it out. Yeah, that'll conclude this episode. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you have all notifications turned on so you don't miss anything new. And again, another great episode. So we'll catch you on the next one. Oh, and also Homer telling Bart to meet his new brother. Which, yeah, they pretty much Homer's still kissing him, and Marge is like, I want him out of my house.